skill moves became an essential part of attacking over the years in FIFA and FC. Some skill moves bait the opponent with deceiving animations, others just offer quick direction changes or allow you to pick up a lot of pace. But they can also get really complicated. In this tutorial video we present you 5 skill moves for every skill level, from beginner to pro. The first ones are real staples that every player should be able to pull off in any situation. Towards the end we get to the more fancy stuff, which looks really cool as well. So let's get it going. If there's one skill move to learn, it has to be the ball roll. This skill move is the most versatile in the game. It can help you to secure ball possession, get away from the opponent's pressure, control your pace with the ball, but you can also use it to slightly change your angle to get better passing or shooting setups. The ball roll is simple yet very powerful. To perform a ball roll, all you have to do is hold the right stick in a 90-degree angle left or right, relative to your viewing direction. So when you face towards the right side, it's either up or down. It's a 2-star skill move, so basically every player can do it. Here are some typical use cases for it. When you are retrieving the ball with your defender and you're getting chased by the opponent, you can use the ball roll to prepare your next pass to your teammate to secure ball possession. The ball roll helps you to get a better passing angle while shielding the ball with your body. It's also a great tool to initiate a turn. With a ball roll you can slow down your player out of a full sprint, slightly change the angle and then follow it up with a small turn. But it can also help in attacking situations to improve the passing angle. When you are on the outside with a teammate in the center, you can use the ball roll to cut a bit to the inside to play a better pass. At last, the ball roll is also useful to prepare a long shot like a finesse or trivela. It allows you to get more consistent with these kinds of attempts as you can set up the required angles towards the goal. As you can see, the ball roll is a great help to secure ball possession, but also to create chances and score more goals. That's why we consider it as one of the most, or maybe the most important skill move in the game. Next up we have another classic, the fake shot. This skill move is only used in the midfield or in particular around and in the opponent's box. The reason is pretty simple. You try to sell that you want to shoot, as the name already gives away. And this works best when you're closer to the goal. But the animations and the chance to change direction is also pretty slick to use in the opponent's half as well. The latter is the main purpose of the fake shot, changing your direction while also distracting the opponent for just a brief moment. For a fake shot you have to press the shooting or crossing button and then cancel this by pressing the passing button. With the input of the left stick you determine in which direction you will end up with a fake shot. Based on how much you change the direction, how much pace you have and what players you use, you get different animations. Some are very slick and fast, this is especially the case for agile players and smaller direction changes, and some are rather slow. This is the case for rather sluggish players or when you go for huge direction changes above 90 degrees. A fake shot can be performed by every player, but doing it with your tall defenders or goalkeepers is a good recipe for disaster. In general, we advise to keep the fake shots to a direction change of 90-degree max. Otherwise the execution can become very slow and then there's a higher chance of losing the ball to the defender, even with more agile players. A special variation of the fake shot is enabled with a trickster playstyle. Players with this playstyle, also just in silver, perform faster and smoother fake shots, which also allows the player to maintain more ball control. We explain the trickster fake shot in more detail in a tutorial at the Guide Plus, which you can watch for free. Click the icon in the top right corner or the link in the video description to get there. In the mid here we're getting into territory where the skill moves get more challenging to execute. We decided to include a skill move which was meta defining in the last couple of years, and it's still effective in FC 25 as well. The stepovers. Especially the stepover sprint boost was heavily abused last year, and even though this year it is not as strong anymore, the stepovers are still quite powerful, because it's not only about sprint boosting. They also allow you to change direction very fluidly and be very flexible with it. This is where the power of this skill move lies, even though it is just a 2-star skill move. As mentioned, the execution can be a bit harder to learn. It's a lot about training the motor skills with your fingers, as it is a lot about the right timing. So here's the step-by-step explanation. You start with moving the right stick forward into the viewing direction, and then you do a quarter circle to the left or right side from here. This alone triggers the animation of 3 stepovers of your player. When you do to the left, your player starts with the left foot, vice versa on the other side. When you're standing, you don't automatically get several step overs, but you have to chain them on your own. But now comes the interesting part. While your player is in the step over animation, you can exit it in any direction by changing the direction of your left stick. You can do it after the first step over, but also after the second or third one. As soon as you change the direction, you exit in that direction. As you will notice, some of these exits are smoother than others. The best ones are at 45° angle or also 90° angle. The third step is pressing the sprint button the moment you change direction. This gives you a sudden burst in pace. And this leads us to the infamous step over sprint boost. You don't have to change the direction with the step overs. When you just keep it straight and press sprint while your player is doing the first or second step over, you get into a fast sprint going straight. But you don't have to combine step overs with a sprint all the time. If I beat the last defender inside the box, I don't want to accelerate but prepare my finish right after. So I just do the direction change and I don't touch the sprint button. So these are the 3 steps for the step over. Initiate the step over with a quarter circle, determine the exit and timing with changing direction of the left stick, consider whether you want to exit with a sprint boost or not. A typical flaw in the execution can be when you accidentally start with a reverse step over, because the exit most often isn't as smooth. A reverse step over starts with the foot at the outside. This happens when you start with the right stick in the wrong position, so you do the quarter circle from the outside to the inside. The step overs are as deadly because they offer a mix of surprise and speed. When you start with the animation, there's always the uncertainty for the opponent how you will exit. Do you keep straight and go for the sprint boost, or do you change direction, and if so, how exactly? This opens up the potential for the opponent to make a mistake or misstep. Finding those 1 versus 1 situations against defenders is the key to making the step overs work. Sometimes it's also just about to open up passing angles in the midfield with the direction change. Overall, the step overs offer a great mix of situations to use in and also how to use. Thus, this is a must include for every player that tries to get up the ranks. As the 4th skill move, we have one of my hidden champions. It was introduced not so long ago, in FIFA 23, but since then it has become one of my favorite skill moves to use. I'm talking about the heel to ball roll. It's a 4-star skill move and you have to hold L1/LB while moving the right stick forward and then backward. So when moving to the right, it's right and then left, for example. But there's a small detail which not everybody knows about. You can perform this skill move in 2 variations, either with an exit to the left or right. Actually, this is quite important to get the most out of it. The variation and exit is determined by the direction of the left stick. So while you perform the input with the right stick, slightly adjust the angle of the left stick to the left to exit to the left side, or to the right to exit to the right side. Now, after we mastered the fine nuances of this move, we can have a look at when it works best. My favorite situations are with a defender in front of me, but also a bit to the side. When we then use the heel to ball roll with the right timing, we pull back the ball so the opponent misses with their attempt to win the ball, and we have a slick and smooth exit to the side where the opponent is moving away from. So we exit in the direction where the opponent is positioned. Sometimes I really try to move in an angle and direction to set it up so I can use this skill move. This example shows quite well how important the right positioning of the defender is in order to have the desired effect. Here I thought that the opponent would be a bit closer so I could bait them in with a move to then cut inside. But the opponent wasn't close enough and not in the right position, so my first heel to ball roll didn't have any effect. But right after the move, the opponent got real close and in the perfect spot to give it another try. Slightly in front, but to the side. So I did another heel to ball roll with the exit to the right side. And bang, the opponent moved in while I smoothly moved the ball around them with a slight cut to the inside. Perfect to set up the finish on goal. The heel to ball roll is a really strong move in 1 versus 1 as it has a good surprise factor due to the slight side movement which makes it hard to defend. I use it very often to beat the last defender in and around the box to be then through on goal and have a great chance to score. At last, we have a recent addition to the game. It is the new skill move toe drag step over. Not quite sure what is longer, this clunky name or this really long animation. At first your player is doing something with their feet, then we see a bit of step overs, and then we have this sudden exit out of it. To be completely honest, at first sight I thought this was completely useless. Usually such long animations don't really work. Skill moves are most often about this fast, sudden execution. But over time, this skill move really grew on me. It has such a cool vibe and flow. When you perform it with success, it's just a great feeling. And that's why I decided to include it in this video. So okay, now you know my love story with this skill move, but perhaps you're more interested to learn about the input and how to use it. So for the toe drag step over, you hold L1 or LB and then do a half circle, so 180 degrees with the right stick behind your player, either from left to right or right to left. So basically like an elastico or reverse elastico if you know these moves, but just with L1/LB. The direction of this half circle determines with which foot you start the move. And of course, such a cool move obviously requires 5-star skills. So why does this move actually work? Well, two reasons for it. First, it is super deceiving. You have a short sequence with a lot of distracting movement of your player, which can actually mislead your opponent and make it really hard to read what you will do. If you get going with the move, then it can become really tricky to defend. And this is the most important thing that you have to know about it. You need a bit of distance from the opponent when you start doing it. You consider it something like a charge-up period when you launch your special attack. When you start with a toe drag step over, you are very vulnerable to an opponent's attempt to just tackle the ball because of this long animation. But then, if you get above a certain threshold, it's not as easy to tackle anymore, because you can exit in every direction. This is the second factor why this move works. Similar to just the normal step overs, you can exit the move in any direction. So this in combination can really send your opponent to get some hot dogs while you get into the box and score. But remember, you need space when starting the move, and this is probably the biggest weakness of it. So when you want to start using it, it's a lot about you developing a good idea where a 1v1 with a defender in front of you will come up. Besides the 1v1 with defenders in front of you, I noticed that this move can also be used to cut inside from the wing. Not a lot of opponents will know this move, or when they do, they don't know where you want to exit with it. Bruh. So it can be this little bit of uncertainty that can be enough for you to cut inside and play out your chance from there. So okay, these were the 5 best skill moves to learn, and I'm pretty sure that you might have expected some other skill moves. So let me know in the comments what skill move did I miss, which was an auto include, and I'm an idiot to not have it in this top 5 selection. Really curious to hear what you think, and perhaps we can make another video similar to this one. You think skill moves are unfair and you struggle defending these, seems like you have to step up your defending game. Luckily, I have exactly the right video for you. You can click on it in the center of your screen right now, and this is our complete defending tutorial for FC 25. That's it from my side, thanks for watching, keep a clean sheet, I'm out.